Hello again. Before going any further, it is as well to remind people that murders have always been committed in Britain. There never was a time when people did not kill each other in this country. The question to ask is whether the frequency or nature of violent crime has increased and whether there is any possible explanation if either of those things turn out to be the case. There are, of course, fashions in murder, just as there are in other fields of human endeavour, such as architecture and music. Today, the commonest means used in this country to cut short the life of another person is stabbing with a sharp implement. About 40% of British homicides are carried out in this way. In the past, of course, cutthroat razors, pokers and axes were the more popular weapons to use if one wished to end somebody's life. 100 years ago, knifing somebody was seen as being a very un-English way of killing anybody. Here's a book written by Dorothy Sayers. It's a collection of short stories about Lord Peter Wimsey. It was published in 1928. Where are we now? This is a police officer investigating the case of a woman who has been stabbed to death. He says, of course, these foreigners are like that, even the decentest of them. Stabbing and such like seems to come natural to them. That pretty well summed up the English view of stabbing at that time. It was seen as a nasty foreign custom. Are foreigners in Britain more prone to such things these days? As I say, the Home Office is very coy about letting us see the figures regarding this, although I've not the least doubt that they themselves know the situation. The senior lecturer in sociology at Uppsala University in Sweden, though, has no such reticence, and he is warning that violence in his own country carried out by immigrants and their families is threatening to develop into a civil war. In Sweden, of all places. In the description to this video, I give a link to a news item which contains this man's views, which he backs up with some pretty shocking statistics. Whether they are similar to what we would find in this country if we were allowed to see the figures is anybody's guess. Here are a couple of facts. In Sweden, 73% of those guilty of murder, attempted murder and manslaughter are immigrants or from immigrant families. For a Swedish person born of Swedish parents, the chance of being convicted of a crime is 3.2%. For somebody born outside Sweden, the chances of being convicted of any crime is around 8%. Even more interestingly, for somebody born in Sweden to parents who were born abroad, the chances of being convicted of a crime are 10%. Being born into an immigrant family actually means you're 3 times more likely to commit a crime. This is alarming, for it suggests that coming from immigrant families is a risk factor for crime, even if somebody is born in that particular country. For gun crime, the figures are really shocking. Stockholm has 30 times as many deaths by shooting as London, even though the population is only a tenth of London's. In other words, the actual rate of murders by shooting in Stockholm is roughly 300 times as high as London. I wonder if the corresponding figures for Britain would be as stark as this, by which I mean the figures for crimes committed by foreigners or people born in this country to foreign parents. What is most curious is that the children of immigrants born in Sweden are more likely to become criminals than those living there who were born abroad. It seems that the experience of being born into an immigrant family makes one more likely to slip into criminality, which might perhaps have implications for Britain. It is often asserted that a person born in Britain to immigrant parents is every bit as British as one born to British parents. This is definitely not true in Sweden, and I wonder if it is really true here.